You clicked on this video because you want to learn more about the Enjinstarter Launchpad and mostly the current state of how the project is going right now. Is it still relevant? Can you still earn money with it? But more importantly, how to actually do so. Today we're going to do a complete 2022 overview of the project and the investment potential that it may or may not have. So without further ado, sit tight, relax, let's get started. All right, so starting off, we're gonna get right into it really. Before we do, however, very quick question. I hope you guys would be okay to quickly subscribe and like the video. I upload Launchpad videos daily, so if that is something you might be interested in, quickly make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, I am not a financial advisor, despite I might pretend like I am. I'm really not, so perform your own due diligence and do your own research. All right, let's get started. So the Enjinstarter is quite popular. It is definitely up there and it's certainly one of the most dominant launchpads on the Enjin chain. It is a gaming launchpad that exclusively focuses on IGOs, right? So those are initial gaming offerings, which is of course has a lot of potential, right? We're talking about the gaming industry. It's bigger than the movie and the music industry combined, and crypto gaming is huge and does have a lot of potential in store for itself. Looking at Enjinstarter, we can see that it has nearly 30,000 people gathered on its watch list, and it's ranking at 3.5k. So it's certainly a big launchpad, one that is quite famous and one that you've probably heard quite a lot about. Now, again, we're talking 2021, right, when most of the media coverage was given to Enjinstarter. So this is a much more up-to-date review. So without that, with that out of the way, what it is and where you might have seen it before, let's get started with the tiers. It's always the most important part that we start with. If you want to see something else though, timestamps below. All right, so the tiers of Enjinstarter. Currently, these are the most up-to-date tiers. We have the multiverse, the metaverse, and the universe, and we have galaxy, and we have star. So unfortunately, they did not put this in one big graphic. They have two separate ones, which is absolutely fine. So as we can see here, the most cheapest tier is called Star, and you only need 1250 of Enjinstarter's token staked for that. It's called EGS. As you can see, the value of this token is inherently very, very low. So Star is very cheap. Now, FCFS allocation boost, FCFS allocation weight are over here. Access to private and exclusive rounds will not be available for tier Star and the Galaxy. Neither will you have NFT whitelist spots, and the voluntary cooldown boost will be 1.5. Now, what we can see is that there don't appear to be any lotteries involved here. As far as I can tell from this graph, all of this seems to be guaranteed allocated. I'm just trying to absolutely make sure that that is correct, but it doesn't look like that is required. So okay, that is good. And then as we move higher up the list, we have bigger tiers: universe, metaverse, multiverse. Let's just quickly calculate though what the cheapest tier is going to cost you. We're looking at 1250, and we do that times a very, very low amount, which was 0.003. So we can see that for just $3.75, you can already have the cheapest tier. So obviously, it's going to be an incredibly small allocation, so you will not be able to participate with a lot of investment in the projects, but just enough to really, earn some basic money. It's that simple, right? But then again, if you do want to have a bigger share of the pie, go higher up the list, stake more. As you can see, Multiverse is only 500k. It's really not that expensive, right? This is 50k, 500k times 0.003. So as we can see, for just $1,500, you can already have the most expensive tier. Now, again, relatively speaking, this is quite cheap, but it of course depends on what your situation is right now. If you're a beginner investor, if you're a veteran investor, how much money you have to invest with. But compared with other launchpads, it's quite a cheap highest tier. So overall, the Enjinstarter has a relatively low barrier of entry. It is quite easy to get into. You can get your tier very easily, and it's also very easy to understand, as on the homepage you immediately here have your tiers, your staking, getting started, tokenomics, step-by-step plans, so very beginner friendly. All right, so that is the tiers. Now let's go over to getting started to really find out how you can step-by-step get started with Enjinstarter. If you already know this and you want a more up-to-date review on how the project is doing right now, skip over to the projects area. There we are going to discuss the current state of the token and the project that Enjinstarter has right now. That is really going to give you an insight on the status of the project currently. And for now though, how to get started, also very important for those of you who don't know Enjinstarter that well or aren't very familiar with launchpads in general. So, very simple, the very first step is to KYC your wallet. Now, they don't explain here what a KYC is, so if you don't know what it is, KYC is basically a verification of your wallet or your identification that you are indeed you. KYC is oftentimes not possible within the United States and a bunch of other countries. So if KYC is something you are not eligible for, you cannot participate in, then Enjinstarter might not be a good fit for you as it is required. So with that out of the way, it is very simple. You have a button here and it will give you to bring you to another website. Here you can simply verify with a block pass. Follow the steps below. You will need an identification paper. Very simple process. Once you have KYC'd your wallet, you will have to buy EGS or WEGS. You can do that through either PancakeSwap, Uniswap, MEX, or Gate.io. Very simple process as well. Click on either of these exchanges and the rest will follow quite simply. And then for step 3, you will have to stake or farm your EGS tokens to qualify for allocation. Now, as you can see here, like we discussed before, at least 1250 will be required, but just really look at those tiers. Think about what tier you would like. We discussed the tiers already. They're found here. If you want a bigger allocation and you have more money to invest, then go for multiverse or metaverse. If you are you want to go for the middle, then Universe or Galaxy is good. If you just want to test the waters and go for the most cheapest tier, then Star is fine and you will only need 1250 tokens for that. So again, very simple, very basic, very much the same like other launchpads do it. So if you have any experience with launchpads whatsoever, you probably have a pretty good understanding of how all of this goes. They have a staking guide, they have EGS staking options, so you should be able to find your way to being able to participate in Enjinstarter. All right, so now we talked about what Enjin is, the tiered system, and how to participate. It is now time to look at how the project is doing right now. What current projects are there? What is the token doing? And what are my personal predictions for the future of Enjinstarter? So let's get into that. While we're at it, please make sure to leave a like if you haven't done that before. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Here we are on the Enjinstarter app. This is the actual launch pad. As we go over here, connect your wallet, of course, in the top right. Here we can see all of the upcoming projects. Now, what are we going to be looking at exactly? How are we going to determine the quality of these projects? I usually do that by a very simple metric, right? We're looking at 4 things in total. The first one is how many projects are there? The utility of the token is completely decided by how much use is there for the token. Why wouldn't you just go ahead and sell your tokens? Why do you want to hold on to them? So looking at how many projects are being produced and launched is very important. Secondly, we're going to look at how the projects look. It is literally that simple to just click on the website and see Does it look like absolute garbage, or does it actually look very professional and very good? It is that simple sometimes, you guys. In crypto, most of the times, if it looks bad, it probably is. If it looks good, it's probably still bad, but it could be good, right? So that is the second one, right? How does it look? The third one is looking at the past. How did the other projects perform? Did they do good or did they do bad? Now, those are the most important steps by far. After that, we're also going to look at the transparency of the Launchpad. How much information do they give about the projects? So with that out the way, let's get started. We see that they don't have any active projects. That's not very good. Again, bearish market, not that much launching right now. So I will forgive Enjinstarter for that for sure. As we can see, they do have upcoming projects, 3, 6, 9, 12. They keep going, look at that. So there's a bunch of projects coming up. So I'm not gonna complain about them not having any active projects, because with this much coming up, I probably just caught them off guard, right? They might have a project launching tomorrow or the day after. They have lots of projects coming up at least. Now, we're going to get into some of these upcoming projects. We're also going to look at these older projects to see how they did. First off, though, I can already say that the quality of the projects looks quite good. Now, Chirply is an IDO, right? So this is not a game. So it's interesting to see that Enjin is launching this. Regardless, though, Chirply is a very promising IDO, as it basically, you know what, I'm not even going to explain it. I have a video on it on this channel, so look over there if you want to learn more about Chirply. But very promising project. I'm very bullish on it myself, and I am very sure that it is going to do a good X, going to give you guys some good returns. So I'm very bullish on Chirply. Good to see it on Enjin. We see here another one. Haven't heard about this project, so we'll look into that in a bit. Then, of course, we have Legends of Aria. You must have heard of it before. So I've also done a in-depth review on this, so check it out if you want. This is also a very promising project. It used to be a non-blockchain related game, was very popular. Now they're basically rebranding themselves using Web3, and it is looking promising. I really like how the project is presenting itself, how it's looking right now. I think there's a lot of potential in here, and it's definitely worth a look. But more importantly, it's not a complete garbage project, right? And that is important. It looks good, it feels good. There's clearly thought and effort put into it, which is good, right? And that is the first step of deciding whether a launchpad is good, right? Are the projects looking decent? Yes. Is there enough projects? Yes, especially because this is a bear market, so it's harder to get projects in the first place. Now, are they being transparent enough? Do we have all of the information we need? Well, if we click on any of the upcoming projects, we see the project feed. So this is a complete overview of what the project is. We see here a trailer of the project. And then we have here, what is this? A link to their website. So there we can do our own research as well. We have the IDO date, we have the token price, and we have the targeted raise. So that is really all of the information we would ever need. Now again, both the Legends of Aria and Chirply, just look up Digits Club Chirply review or Digits Club Legends of Aria review. You're going to see old me doing a review on this. Definitely worth your time if you want to find out if the projects are any good. So yeah, move over there, check it out, I would say, after this video, but certainly good quality projects. I really want to reiterate that. My hair is falling a bit, you guys. Are you noticing that? Got to stay sharp for the video though. Look at that, it just fell again. Man, you're going to see me squish it. All right, enough about my hair. Let's continue. Right, we're just going to let it fall. Look at that. We're just going to let it fall. There we go. Not to worry about it, guys. Not to worry about it. So moving forward, we see a bunch more projects over here. Going Ape, Clone, Epic Meta, Born to Die. A lot of these, I actually have to admit, I have never heard of these. I have heard of Shark Race. It looks pretty interesting, actually. IDO date is to be announced. Let's see, let's click on a random one here. Let's click, for instance, on Backstage, see what this project is all about. So what we can see over here, again, the token price, it has the same amount of information. This one also have the token metrics. And now most of it is still to be announced. Vesting details are already here, 20% on TGE. This is of course also very important when reviewing the projects, right? How much of your tokens are you going to be getting right off the bat on TGE, and how many tokens do you actually have to wait for, how many tokens will be locked up, and how much will be done over linear vesting. So that's important, 20% TGE. That's okay. Country restrictions are also put in here. Now, these are all of the countries that are not allowed to participate in KYC, I believe, unless I am not seeing the USA. Yeah, the USA should be somewhere in there, I believe. So that is all for the projects. My personal opinion, right now, Enjinstarter is being very selective. They have good projects thus far that are releasing. They have a lot of projects. So that is all looking very good. Transparency is good as well. So the only point that remains from my 4 crucial talking points is the completed projects. Now we see here drives. I like the project, right? Earn money while driving. I was very interested in that when I first saw it. So we see here, the project IDO day was the 28th of July. We can click on learn more to hopefully find out what happened. So it 100% sold out, which is a good indicator that the community is selling out, right? They're buying the projects out. So that is of course a good thing for the Launchpad. Let's see the token metrics. Let's see here, the TGE, 20% at TGE. So, okay, so let's move over to drivers, and we should be able to find out how the project performed for the investors that came from the Enjinstarter Launchpad. I'm not able to find it here though. Now let's see, drive Z. There you go. I just typed it wrong. All right, so we're moving over to drive Z and all time. Let's see. Okay, so it started at 10 cents, sorry. And the token price here, BUSD 0.02. Okay, initial supply, total supply. Yeah. All right, so this was the token price. This is the TGE. Thus far, it has gone down. So that is, as you can see, it's a very new project, right? So there's not a lot of data thus far. The price has certainly gone down thus far. We see the sentiment is bearish/bullish. Over here, we see someone who lost $1,200. Here they say they were blocked by them. It's a scam. So definitely a lot of bearish. We do also have some bullish. It's quite, it kind of depends. Overall though, probably not the best project ever, right? But overall, I can already tell you that the quality of what they have launched in the past is certainly quite high. You're always going to have your questionable projects, especially when we're talking about IGOs, but overall, in general, they are quite good. They're also selling out, right? 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%, 100%. Now here we have one that is 68%, but for the rest, Enjinstarter is consistently selling out all of its projects, which is a very good sign that there's a strong community and that there's trust in Enjinstarter to perform the due diligence and give good projects. So that is all looking very good projects. I'm quite bullish on it. Maybe not Drive Z, but for the rest, pretty okay. Very bullish on Legends of Aria and Sherpley in particular. They have lots of projects coming up, so that is looking good. All right, they also have a NFT launcher, so that is what we're going to look at next. So as for the INO platform, the initial NFT offering platform doesn't really seem to be working that well. We are seeing just things are loading very slowly. Test project 1. I wasn't really able to find any good utility over here. Maybe it's still in maintenance. I'm not sure for now, though. We're just going to move on. I don't really feel like this is somewhere we want to put too much of our attention into. Over here though, we can start talking about the utility of the token in terms of staking. As you can see here at staking.enjinstarter.com, you will be able to perform your staking. There are active campaigns and expired campaigns. Of course, we want to move forward with the active campaigns to start staking. Make sure you have connected your wallet and are on the correct chain. Over here, you will see the active campaigns, 100% APY, the total amount that is staked, your weekly rewards, and the total rewards, the duration, and the expiry time is all here. Let's see, how can we participate? I suppose I have to connect my wallet. I do have to say though, there's a lot of just missing icons and just slow connections, which makes me a bit annoyed, to be honest with you. So that is definitely a negative. Here, when you connect your wallet, you do have your staked and your amounts of rewards. And yeah, here you will be able to stake, but obviously we don't have any coins. But here you will be able to stake, you will get your APY, and you will get access to the Launchpad. Very simple, very basic. So there's that. So moving over to the token as a whole, we're moving over here to Enjinstarter. Now, what we are seeing here at Enjinstarter is, of course, that the token is doing all right, considering the bear market. It certainly has seen better times. Over here in 2021, we can see that the token was around 10 cents, even 20 cents at its peak. And well, that definitely did come crashing down. Right now, we are below 1 cent. The overall community sentiment is quite divided. There's more bullish than bearish, but there's a fair share of just bearish comments out there. Overall, a lot of comments, right? A lot of people using this launchpad and a lot of people having something to say about it. If we look at how the price has been for the past couple months, it has basically flatlined. There's no spikes, there's nothing. It has just been like this for a very long while, and it's unfortunate, really. Do I think that the price could spike up and surprise us? Well, of course, it could do that. But for now, though, it seems to be very slow over at Enjinstarter. But everything does look good, right? They have their foundation. So when the bull market finally hits, seeing these prices go up, that is certainly a possibility for sure. Now, as for its holders, there are more than almost 6,500 holders, 6,458 over on Etherscan. So if we move over to the holders, we will be able to see how many people are actually holding the token. Now, most of the tokens are actually held by a contract, as you can see here, 85%, that is more than $30 million worth of these tokens, are actually held by a contract. I'm not able to see what contract it is. Almost 3% is held by another contract, and all of these, they're just contracts right here. Uniswap, Mexi.com, Enjinstarter Deployer, Milivinu, or however that's pronounced, .eth. So over here start the real investors, right? So we see here the top investors hold around 5K, and the top 50 is all above 1,000. And yeah, overall, just high holders, big holders for sure, and that is looking pretty good overall. Now, as for the actual website and what is there to find on the website, and most importantly, the team, before we get into that though, I want to point out the fact that I couldn't find a white paper, right? Where's the white paper of Enjinstarter? If I wasn't able to find it, but it's there, then it was way too well hidden, right? Then it should have been way more in the open. But overall, I'm pretty confident when I tell you there was no white paper. It was not linked on the website. It didn't come up in the Google searches, and it wasn't linked in their website either. We did have a GitHub, but again, that is not the same as a white paper. So that is just not what we're looking for here. Disappointing? I mean, I guess. At the end of the day, they did put a lot of information on the website itself, tokenomics, team, etc. So there's a lot of information to be found on the website, but of course, we would have loved to see a white paper. Now, there's more red flags here in my opinion. Again, here, build on Enjin, no gas fees, carbon negative NFTs, smart contract support, yada, yada, yada. It's all there. And it looks good, right? Moving down, however, we see the team. And this is where I start to wonder, why don't we have a docs team? Now again, a team has many reasons not to dox themselves, right? So there could be many reasons out there why not. Now, first and foremost, I hear you guys screaming, but there's a LinkedIn, they're doxed. I mean, kind of. But if we click on their LinkedIns, at least half of these LinkedIns don't actually link to a LinkedIn. Now, we do have some LinkedIns, as you can see here. This one doesn't exist. Others just link to the homepage. Others have a LinkedIn, but they're not doxed. We do have some people that are doxed, right? It's there, right? But certainly not the whole team. Now, again, there are multiple reasons why investors want a team to be doxed. There's also multiple reasons why a team doesn't dox themselves. So there's not necessarily a right or a wrong. I prefer to invest in projects that have a doxed team. Why is that? It's making doing a rug pull so much harder, right? You can just get the hell out. No one knows you. No one knows who you are, where you live, what the hell you do. You can just get the hell out, right? So having a doxed team gives you more security. Not having a doxed team, less security. Still good, right? It's still okay. I would not say don't invest in Enjinstarter just because they don't have all of them a fully doxed LinkedIn. That's not what I'm saying, right? Overall, though, I do have to say good art. I mean, it looks amazing. And they have a pretty big team as well, right? Overall. Let's see. Rishi Randawa, Kaisi Lee, Elizabeth Tan, Louis Tai. So these definitely sound like more Asian, Alvin Tang, right? These are more Asian names. So they're definitely they seem to not be a European or a US based company, which is quite irrelevant, but it is good to point out. Then over here, we have their advisors, ecosystem development, strategy, partnerships, research and development, and a bunch more. Also, these advisors have their LinkedIn linked. Not all of them are actually doxed again, but at least we have LinkedIn's linked. In my opinion, if you don't link a LinkedIn, don't put the LinkedIn there, but that's my opinion. Here we have the angel investors. And that's about it. So now moving forward to the partners. Very important, seeing the partners listed out there, seeing what people, what companies got involved with Enjin. So the institutional investors, we see Basic Capital, we see ArcStream Capital, Starter Capital, but not a lot of names that I really know. FF Ventures, but for instance, Bullish Unicorn, I've never really heard of them. And yeah, I'm definitely not seeing any tier 1 companies involved. And that indicates a little bit about the quality of Enjinstarter, or at least whether Enjin is a tier 2 or a tier 1. It certainly doesn't qualify as a tier 1 launchpad simply because it doesn't have those big tier 1 partners, right? You need to be recognized by other tier 1s in order to be a tier 1. Do I think it's a tier 3? No, certainly not. I mean, this is clearly a tier 2 launchpad. Fight me on this in the comments if you think it's a tier 1, right? Differences in opinion can always exist. I don't think it's a tier 1. But yeah, those are the partners. For the rest, though, very clean site. It's looking really good, right? Here, create the multiverse, some illustrations, their mission, right? So this is probably also part of the reason why they don't have a white paper, because they have both their tokenomics, their tiers, their tutorial, their vision, and their USPs and their team listed on the website. So they're like, we don't need that, right? It's all on the website. It's all published anyways. So there's no need for that. I mean, touche, fair enough. I mean, you can do that. That is a decision that you can make. Nothing inherently wrong with that. So that is all for the website. I've also covered everything on the Launchpad side of things. The team has been covered as well. Then there's only one more thing left to do. And that is, of course, looking at the social media. Now, why is the social media this important? I've actually heard this question quite a lot of times. Like, why do we always do a big segment around their social media, their Twitter, etc.? Why is that important? Well, of course, Launchpads are crowdfunding platforms, right? You earn money by investing in early crypto projects. They facilitate those projects. Their entire goal is to have a big engaged community that invests in the projects on their Launchpad. Seeing how big their community is, how positive their community is, and how Enjin really communicates with their community is incredibly important, So what we can see on their Twitter right now, as of 2022, is that they have 133,000 Twitter followers, which is a lot. They started their account on May 2021. They post very regularly. However, the interaction is quite mediocre, between 10 to 20 likes, right? And a lot of those are also, of course, retweets. Here they make a post around Chirply, of course, very bullish on Chirply as a whole. So, I mean, I'll be bullish on anything they post about Chirply, really. But really looking to the rest of the Launchpad, right? They do retweet a lot about the projects that they are hosting. They post quite often, right? Join us on the #Hack Series Twitter space. So they're doing what they're supposed to do. The interaction is not really there, or at least not as much, which is a shame to see. But really, I have already seen that most of the Enjinstarter community is active on other platforms. Twitter is not their main platform, which is fine, but they do have an active, quite bullish and positive community. So that is very good to note down. They're doing what they got to do on Twitter, so that is all looking good. They also do have a YouTube. They almost have 5,000 subscribers, which is quite a lot. They post YouTube Shorts. They actually have this girl who does Hot Ones, and that is basically just talking about market opportunities. And yeah, that's about it. For the rest, they do also have interviews, and I assume they also have AMAs and little trailers, as you can see here. Enjin IDO, the next war. So this is some gameplay of one of the IDOs and all that. So again, they do what they gotta do over on their YouTube as well. So that is all looking pretty good. All right, overall though, that is all that was very important. Now we finally move forward to the tokenomics, of course, saving the best for last. So sit tight as we are going through the last part of this video where we really dive into the tokenomics to see, has the foundation been built correctly? It's important. Let's get into it. All right, so we're seeing 20% going out to community rewards, 20% for company reserves, 15% going out to the team, only 1% as reserved for the public round, private 2 and private 1. Big difference here, private 2 getting 3%, private 1 getting 13%, strategic gaining 10 and seed gaining 10, and the ecosystem fund gaining 8. So the team getting 15% is very basic, very average. Public round at 1% is very low, but of course public is mostly for marketing purposes, so it's understandable and quite common as well. Overall, nothing much out of the ordinary in the token distribution. User funds, 15% will be given to the operations, 30% will go to marketing, 10% to legal, and 45% to development. Okay, again here, not much out of the ordinary. Development is very costly and it's of course most important. Marketing, again, putting the crowd into crowdfunding, so that is important as well. And then 10 and 15% for legal and operations is all just good as well. Over here we have the Enjinstarter token sale. Now this has already happened, right? But we can see here that the seed had an incredibly low price, strategic as well, private 1, private 2, and then public. So that is 008. So as you can see, we are well below TGE for the public round, but for instance, for the seed round, we are still above the price that they paid, but they only had a 1 month cliff and then a 10% linear vesting. So the seed investors in Enjinstarter made a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, look at this. This is the 1 month cliff. So from here, they started vesting, right? This is 10.6, so 11.6, right? Vesting started here. So here they got their tokens, and all the way till now they still make profit, right? So seed investors, huge profits. Strategic made profits as well. In fact, they still made profits. Yep, they're still above strategic round price. Private 1 will have made profits for sure. Not anymore now, but over here, all before here, the price was above. And everything after the private 1 sale, so private 2 and public, didn't do so well. Although here, as you can see, public with a 50% of TGE release. So public did quite well, but private 2, only 10% of TGE. So private 2 is certainly one of the worst. Seed and strategic the best as always. Now here you have this in a graph, very neat, very good looking. And that is about it for the tokenomics, as we can see, okay. So you guys, that was already it for Enjinstarter. What did we do this video? We looked at the project as it is right now. So everything there is to know about Enjin, the current status of the project, how to participate, and everything else that we had to cover. So if this video gave you any value whatsoever, please consider liking the video and subscribing. And without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao, ciao, bye bye, take care.